Okay, well,
there was a lot of anticipation felt before with the interview of Jonathan Tah. Welcome back for the second part of this press conference before tomorrow's match. Who wants to start? Hi, Coach. We asked Jona already. Maybe you can tell us about your side of things. How is it in this day before the match? Are you tense? Are you looking forward to the game? I'm completely relaxed, to be honest. A deep relaxation. Not only before this game, but I always try to not feel this feeling too early, to not let it have too much influence on me. And it's all about preparation, routine, to find the right words to say tomorrow, and simply you're always until the last moment looking for the perfect sentence to tell your players that can have this 1% difference to push the players even more. But right now I feel quite calm. Hello, Mr. Kompany. A lot of people expect a similar game to the first leg. Can these two teams play differently? Can there be calm phases of play, or will there always be a lot of pressure? It depends on both teams, really. If one of the sides decides to alleviate some pressure, then it can happen. If not, then not. What you have to keep in mind, what the team showed, you can't let go of it. You have to play in the same way. And I have a hard time imagining PSG to play in a different way. The same goes for us. We play at home. We want to win. In the details, we will do everything in our power to, if maybe we score 4 goals, to win 4-0. I'm saying that because we scored 4 goals in the first leg. PSG, who scored 5 goals, they probably want to win 5-0. The most important part is winning the game. That's our priority, to win. Hi. Lothar Matthäus said after the first leg that your team was in better shape. When you looked at the PSG side, there were some people who were exhausted at the end. And Mikel Arteta said that there were a difference in class between the 4 semi-finalists. How do you assess the fitness level of your team? And considering also that there are some players coming back from injury. And the first good news, well, the bad news is Serge Gnabry is not going to be there, but everybody else is fit. And that's what you need. You need every player. And that's a big difference in comparison to last season, where we were quite unlucky. And the national team cost us 4 games, I think. Now we enter a phase of the season where the boys still have this energy, which is quite important for us. I do have to say that I would describe PSG as being in top shape. They always bring high intensity on the pitch, and without this intensity, the game is completely different. At some point, it can happen that you get some space, you get some time, and then then the game can develop in the way that we saw in the last 20 minutes of the game. Maybe they can play that way for the whole 90 minutes with high intensity. That's what we will try to do. That game will be difficult. In any case, I'd say that PSG is in top shape and it will be difficult to play them. Jonathan Tah said that he felt this special atmosphere in the city, in the whole city. He was in semi-finals before, but he has never felt anything quite like it. Does it feel like 2013? We all know what happened in 2013. Do you also feel that the whole of Munich is electrified, that everybody has this wish to go through to the final? Well, I wasn't there in the past years, but the team has a great relationship with the supporters, and it gives us this feeling that we try to achieve the next level together. At the beginning of the season, few believed that our last game at home for the Champions League would give us the opportunity to move on through to the final, and now we're here. We witnessed so many crazy moments, and I think the supporters believe in us, believe in our ability to win, and together we will make this moment unforgettable. Hello, Mr. Kompany. Well, there's the possibility of extra time, of penalty shootouts. With your experience as a player and as a coach, do you train for these situations? Do you have special speech in mind to prepare for this situation? We will decide who will be shooting the penalties, what the ranking is. This happens also in discussion with the players. We won't let anybody shoot who is not feeling it, who is not feeling quite at ease. This wasn't discussed this week. This has been planned 3 months in advance. There was the games in the Cup against Leipzig, for example. In the second part of the season, we train this every week. Tomorrow, if this situation happens, then no decision is spontaneous. We are well trained, well prepared for the situation. We prepare for everything. Nothing is quite spontaneous. We're always talking to the players, and we always know what we do. In the end, it's football, so there's no guarantee. Mr. Kompany, I think many colleagues would agree with me that a lot of people ask us journalists if we can get them tickets. Is it the same for you? A lot of people that ask you for tickets, could you fill the stadium by yourself? Of course, not only for this game, but also for the Cup final. A lot of people are asking for tickets. But I don't concern myself too much with this. I'm always there in the mixed zone, and sometimes you can't quite enjoy it quite as much, but I'm also not stressed quite as much. I leave everything superfluous by the side, and yes, I will take everything with me that I need. I focus 100% on the game. I don't have much time for anything else.
Vince, as a former well-known coach from the red part of Manchester, once said, attacks wins you games, but defense wins you titles. Do you agree? And is it sometimes frustrating for you as a former defender or your defenders that you're conceding so many goals but still manage to win a lot of games, or is it just part of the philosophy of your kind of football?
No. I don't know if I need to react to one saying, because there's in football 25,000 sayings about every type of philosophy and idea that you can have. So probably no remarks on that. The mission is to win games. That's all it is. We want to win the football match. We have ideas that we think help us to do that, and we win a lot of games. But I mean, what you have to say about PSG, that they are the ones who won the Champions League last year, by the way. And I'm sure that when Luis Enrique comes to his press interview, you're going to say the same questions. So I don't discuss ideas or philosophies. It's not about this. For me, it's about winning the game. What is important, and I think that we've shown that we win a lot of games. PSG have shown that they win a lot of games and titles. We too. But if I have to say one thing, is at the end, it's still about making sure you score one more goal than any opponent you play against, and that you win the football match. And if you can do it without conceding a goal, that's the best thing that can happen. But it is pragmatic as well to think about winning a football match. It's just as pragmatic as any other philosophy.
Next one in the last row, yeah?
Vincent, you spoke about finding the right words for the players. I wonder, in your position where you are as a coach at the moment, your coaching journey, do you find it easy to put yourself in the mindset of the players? Do you lean on your experience of playing huge games domestically and in Europe? Or do you just manage it, coach it like any other game?
No. There is no just another game. Every game is different. And but in my case, I don't know how it is for other coaches, but of course, I have been 23 years in top level football. So although I'm a coach now, there's not many situations I haven't experienced or haven't seen. Had success and failure as well. So you do have a big library of just moments, and you use it, of course. But I don't know. I'm thinking always for these games, and there's no secret recipe. But I'm thinking always for these games is don't play the game the day before. You know, it's when the whistle goes, that's when you have to play the game. That's when you have to bring the emotions and everything with the necessary calm as well. But until that point, for me, I have only sort of preparation, routine, and calmness to give them. And when the game starts, then you think of the emotions you need for the game. That's a little bit how I would frame it.
Dann bearbeiten wir diese Seite. Johannes Berner für die Bild-Zeitung beginnt.
Mr. Kompany, you underlined the importance of routine and that these don't change from one game to the other. Tomorrow you'll be playing with the new home jersey. Are you happy about that? Does it make a difference for the players which jersey they're playing, especially when you're looking at routine, or does it not matter? We're used to it. When Oktoberfest happens, we play in a different jersey. I think you have to focus on the game. Everything else does not matter that much. It's not our priority. We need to focus on what we need to do when the game starts, that we're all aware of our tasks, of our roles. The jersey, I haven't even mentioned it. It's not a consideration for me. Hello, Vincent. Pep Guardiola, that you know very well, has the reputation of doing something special for big games, that he changes the tactics, the lineup. Are you also tempted to try something special for tomorrow? imagine if I answer this question and I say I want to do something different tomorrow, that would be kind of silly. Would be a silly answer. What you have to focus on is the details. You try to find solutions. You find solutions for the boys in the details, and the same goes for Luis Enrique. I don't want to speak in his place, but I think I've watched around 35 games of PSG in the last time. What is important is that the players have to be reinforced in the type of play that they've shown all season, and then yes, details can matter. I played with Pep as a coach, and it's not true that he changes everything before big games. I think that's something that the media likes to talk about. When you lose, you always have to justify yourself, and when you win, you don't.
Harry Kane is clearly in a very good place right now. He has been all season, but we've seen traditionally when he gets closer to the summer, especially in a big tournament year, the performance can tail off. Will that be different this year? And if so, why will it be different? Why can he keep going until the Champions League final? Why can he keep going through to the World Cup?
Honestly, I'm not sure if I would, because you said it as a fact almost, like, so I have to accept that in the seasons before is tapered off towards the end of the season. It's not how I've seen it. I think England can be very grateful that Harry was there, and therefore they reached the final of the Euros 2 times in a row and went far in big tournaments. I've seen his impact. And he is where he needs to be at this moment in time. The Champions League is the toughest competition in the world to win. He's competing against the best players, and it's absolutely normal that at this stage everything is a little bit tougher. But where he is right now, I don't think we could have wished for anything more, or he could have wished for anything more. I don't know if that answers your question, but basically, let's not put it as a statement that that's what happens every year. It's not true. But he has an opportunity for himself to do something special and for the club, and that's all you can ask for. To be there, what is it now, 6th of May? We keep saying it, but we're in every competition. That's all you can ask. And then make it count, that you have no regrets.
The neighbour, yeah, next.
Vincent, Mikel Arteta said last week that he'd never seen anything like the game that you played out in Paris, but he also said it was a product of the two clubs competing in different worlds in terms of the competitive level in both domestic leagues. I wondered what you made of that take on the game.
No, I don't want to comment too much, but obviously having been in the Premier League for many years, if I read between the lines, it's basically a calendar discussion. I don't think it's a criticism on PSG or Bayern Munich or anything like this. It's the fact that you have 38 games to play, plus the League Cup, plus the FA Cup. You don't really have a winter break. And then every single time someone has a bad game, you go, well, how comes they have a bad game? I think that's the conversation what these guys are having. So it's not for me to jump in, but it's a legitimate... because obviously Jurgen Klopp, being German, how many times has he not spoken about this? And I was in that time in the league, so I understand it. But it's not my problem to solve at the moment.
Machen wir noch 4 Fragen bitte. Yes, please, on the side.
You as a former great defender, so how on earth would you solve this nice challenge against Dembele, Kvaratskhelia or Doué? Is it even possible to defend against them?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say how are you solving it against Harry Kane, Lucho Diaz, Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise and everybody else. But it's just the highest level, You have good days and bad days. That's what I want to say. We played against each other 4 times now, and everybody has the last game in mind. But every other time we played against each other, the games were really tight, one way or another. So sometimes the defenders are on top, sometimes the attacking players are on top, but you know that for 90 minutes, 95 minutes, you have to switch on. You have to be at your best level. And, who knows, tomorrow maybe.
Next one is one row behind you. Give a hand sign.
Mustafa Parvani. Mr. Kompany, you once scored a famous goal when you played in the Manchester City, Man City, and everyone told you not to shoot. And I want to know that about the tomorrow, how much the player are free to make the decision, because I think tomorrow there's a possibility to PSG play more defense in some moment, or do you prefer to the player just stick in your plan?
I'll link it to. It was an answer I had to give just before. What I'll link it to is I speak sometimes. I get asked about my role as a coach and this and that, and I said I became a coach because I wanna support the players in being themselves and owning the game. It's a player's game. It's not a coach's game. It's a player's game. When you speak about the moment where I took a shot from 30 meters and everybody said, "Don't shoot," it's exactly this what I mean. It's a player's game. It's players making the saves on the line. It's players making dribbles. It's players. I think my biggest role is to support them in this, give them a framework that allows everyone to play a part. But will the players be allowed to make decisions on the pitch? It's you can't decide, whether we press or not. That's as a team that's what we do. That's who we are, But in the moments, if you decide to shoot or cross or pass the ball, I think the main job of every teammate is to offer a solution. The main job of every teammate is, if someone takes a shot, to follow the shot or to react, to control the counterattack. All these things, there's a lot of roles that you have to respect, but in the end you have to make a lot of football decisions, and I always will respect this, always.
Next row before, yes, please.
Bonjour, coach.
Coach, looking at the first leg, which was crazy, very open on both sides, do you think that we will see a game with a similar second leg with so many goals, or will the second leg be different and more controlled? It completely depends on the teams. If there's a moment in the game where our opponents decides to give us a bit more space, to play with a little bit of a lower block, then it's totally possible that the whole game shifts. But if you look at what they have done the whole season and last year as well, when they won the Champions League, then the game will probably be similar. We always played the games this way. This will be the 5th game that we play against them. The games were always about little details. Last game was very open, but every game had the same level of intensity, and it was always very close. The results were very close. If you're talking about game philosophy, I don't think that they will change. Why would they? Hi, Coach. When we talk about the starting lineup, what we talk about most is the left and right backs, usually Stanisic and Laimer. Could you say what the difference between these players is? All these left and right backs showed that they can play on this level, that they can be important for the team. Of course, they have different styles. One of them is left-footed, which is different than the two others. I think Everybody knows Konrad with his intensity and his runs, and Stanisic is so clean on the ball, very fast as well, which you don't always see, but he's incredibly fast. He always takes the right decisions when he has the ball, very clean on the ball. And Fonzie is so quick, he's strong in 1v1 situations. And when you look at the cross against Freiburg, it offers a lot of possibilities. So I'm very happy that we have all these players, and we will see who will start tomorrow. The important thing is that we win. Last two questions. Hi, Mr. Kompany. After the first leg, Luis Enrique said that Bayern Munich is the strongest side that he has played since arriving at PSG. Can you return the compliment? And is it since you started at Bayern or since the beginning of your career? I don't like to engage in this kind of rankings. What I can say is that PSG has been the strongest side in Europe for the last 2 years. They won the Champions League last year. They're here again in the semi-final, and they do so convincingly. They have an impressive quality in their squad. But what their strength is, on top of the coaching and the strength of the individual players, is their age. They're quite experienced. They progressed a lot. They gathered more experience. There are few teams in Europe like that. I'm thinking about Barcelona, for example. They progressed a lot because their best players had more experience. And I think that's the reason that PSG can stay at this level for many years to come. They are well set up when it comes to the age of their players. We respect them a lot, and they provide us with difficult games. They're difficult to handle, but we will do the same, and we think we'll win tomorrow. I'll speak in French today. Is this the most important game for you since your start as a coach? Do you think you'll find sleep tonight? For the second part of the question, I can tell you, yes, I will have no difficulty to find sleep. I don't even feel the pressure of the game so far. I do my work. I think a lot. But when I feel like I'm done with my work, then I can sleep without issue. I think it's important to have energy for tomorrow. Is it the most important game of my career? Maybe. It's a semi-final of the Champions League. And I think for the players as well, it's an important game. But that doesn't change the way we approach all these important games, the other games that I've had in my career. And the most important is to give a great performance on the pitch. And simply, we have to win. Everybody talked about defending, attacking. It's all about winning. We want to go through to the final, and all means are good to achieve this goal. Thank you. Thanks all.